Welcome, dear chosen one, to this quiet, sacred space. Take a slow, intentional breath. Feel the subtle rhythm of your own being, a rhythm perfectly synchronized with the great, slow turning of the cosmos. If you are here, it is not by accident. It is because a quiet, yet insistent current of truth flows beneath the surface of your everyday life. And it has guided you to this very moment, this very message. We often perceive the word urgent through the chaotic lens of the world, a frantic email, a rushing deadline, the insistent blare of a notification. We associate urgency with speed and stress. Yet in the spiritual realm, urgency has a profoundly different resonance. It is not the speed of the action that matters, but the precision and the purity of the initial commitment. When the divine whispers of an urgent assignment, it refers not to a hasty scramble, but to a foundation that must be laid now, at the very threshold of your waking consciousness, to support the entire architecture of the day that follows. Tomorrow morning? Consider that phrase. It is not just another segment of time. It is the grand, fresh canvas provided for a masterpiece. Before the demands of the physical world begin to construct their intricate, noisy maze around you, you are granted a silent window, a period of unadulterated potential. This is the moment the assignment must begin. This quiet, pre-dawn state, when the veil between the physical and the spiritual is at its thinnest, is your most powerful resource. The spiritual currents of the night, having cleansed and recalibrated your soul during rest, are still flowing freely. This window closes quickly as the mental machinery of planning, worry, and reaction begins to whir. The assignment we speak of is simple in its execution, but monumental in its consequence. It is an act of spiritual sovereignty, a declaration of intent that redirects the trajectory of your entire day and sequentially your life's path. It requires no grand gesture, no public spectacle, only a profound internal stillness. Many spiritual journeys falter not because of a lack of effort, but because of a failure to secure the first fruits of their consciousness. We give our best energy, our freshest thoughts, and our quietest moments, not to the source of our strength, but to the external demands that immediately clamor for attention, the news, the phone, and the list of tasks. This is akin to building a cathedral on shifting sand. The urgent assignment is the setting of the cornerstone, ensuring that everything built upon it is resting on the bedrock of divine alignment. The true gravity of this truth is the realization that every day you have woken up and given your primary attention to the exterior world, you have inadvertently ceded a portion of your spiritual authority. The world has been dictating the terms of your peace, your focus, and your energy. Today we reclaim that authority. This first deliberate action tomorrow morning is a quiet revolution, an act of sacred rebellion against the tyranny of the urgent chaos. We will detail 7 precise yet gentle steps for this sacred act, guiding you through a process designed to soothe your spirit, clarify your mission, and activate the subtle protective layers of your anointing. Preparation is the highest form of spiritual alignment, and this process is your highest preparation. It all begins when you first open your eyes and consciously choose where your attention will rest. Point 1, the 60-second stasis, the vow of non-action. The transition from the depths of unconscious sleep to the cacophony of the waking world is a profoundly vulnerable neurological moment, and your commitment to 60 seconds of stillness is a radical, powerful act of spiritual command. It is a deliberate hijacking of the body's innate stress-driven reflex to fight or flight. which often manifests as a frantic scramble for the nearest stimulus, the phone, the alarm, or the to-do list. Scientifically, this initial grogginess is known as sleep inertia, a state of impaired cognitive and motor performance that can last anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of hours. Jumping straight into a complex activity, or even an emotional one like checking emails, bypasses the critical opportunity to clear the lingering effects of the delta and theta brain waves that dominated deep sleep. By committing to physical and mental stasis, you are in effect performing an internal, controlled reset. This practice is a form of micro-mindfulness, which neuroscience is increasingly demonstrating has measurable effects on brain architecture. Even a minute of focused, non-reactive awareness can activate and strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center responsible for planning, emotional regulation, and conscious decision-making. Simultaneously, it acts as a gentle brake on the amygdala, the primitive center for emotional processing and threat detection. When you prevent the physical action of reaching or the mental action of worrying, you are preventing the surge of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that typically flood the system upon abrupt awakening. This intentional delay tells your nervous system, which is governed by the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system, that you are in a safe, controlled environment, shifting you from a sympathetic fight or flight dominance to a parasympathetic rest and digest state. This subtle 1-minute shift dictates the neurochemical tone for the subsequent hours. The sovereign minute is fundamentally about establishing a primary relationship between your conscious mind, or what you call the spirit, and your physiological self. The default state is for the body to dictate the pace. The alarm rings, the heart rate spikes, the stress hormones flow, and the body moves in reaction. Your stillness reverses this ancient pattern, literally training your brain to see you, the observer, as the conductor of the biological orchestra. The instruction to simply acknowledge that you are awake, blessed, and breathing acts as a powerful gratitude and presence anchor. This simple trifecta grounds the mind firmly in the immediate, non-abstract reality of the present moment, bypassing the brain's tendency to immediately time travel into the future, the to-do list, or the past, yesterday's anxiety. By starting your day as the calm, non-reactive commander, rather than a frantic responder, you create a physiological buffer against the inevitable stresses of the day. This small investment of time is not lost. It is the strategic establishment of a mind-body connection that will translate into greater focus, emotional resilience, and intentionality for every minute that follows. It's not just a pause. It's the conscious drawing of the morning's first, most important boundary. Point 2, the grounding breath, the anchor of the present. Awakening from the nightly voyage of sleep, often referred to as stasis in certain esoteric traditions, presents a critical juncture for our mind and spirit. It is the moment we transition from the delta and theta brainwave states of deep slumber and dreaming to the higher frequency alpha and beta states of conscious activity. This transition is not always seamless. Sometimes the residual energetic and emotional tide of dreams or the immediate surge of daytime anxieties can cloud our cognitive clarity. This is precisely where the profound yet deceptively simple practice of the triphasic breath, as you've outlined, steps in, not just as a breathing exercise, but as a deliberate act of neurological and spiritual anchoring. This technique, rooted in ancient yogic principles like pranayama, particularly reminiscent of techniques like Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, or Ujjayi, adapted for this specific moment, offers a powerful biohack for immediate mental state control. The specific 5-3-7 count is meticulously chosen to leverage the body's physiological responses. The long 5-second inhale stimulates the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve, which is the superhighway of the parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. The PNS is responsible for the rest and digest function, slowing the heart rate and initiating relaxation. This deep, slow inhale maximizes oxygen intake and, more importantly, diaphragmatic engagement. Factual physiology confirms that diaphragmatic breathing decreases the stress hormone cortisol and increases GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid production, a key inhibitory neurotransmitter that counteracts anxious thoughts. The subsequent 3-second hold allows for maximal gas exchange in the alveoli of the lungs, ensuring the freshest oxygen is diffused into the bloodstream and carried to the awakening brain. This brief pause also acts as a moment of stillness, a miniature meditation that interrupts the stream of unconscious thought. The extended 7-second exhale is the most crucial phase. In the realm of therapeutic breath work, the exhale is always prioritized to be longer than the inhale. This elongated expiration sends a powerful, unmistakable signal of safety and deceleration back to the brain via the vagus nerve. By focusing on emptying the lungs completely, we also facilitate the expulsion of carbon dioxide, which further stabilizes blood pH and mitigates feelings of panic or rapid onset stress. The visualization that accompanies this final exhale of stress and residual dreams dissolving is a potent cognitive restructuring technique. It's the conscious mind asserting control over the subconscious residue, literally externalizing internal clutter. This triple repetition solidifies the effect, creating a robust physiological bridge from the world of dreams to the world of reality, securing the spiritual awareness firmly in the now. It's the unique combination of the specific timing, the repetition, and the visualization that makes this technique so uniquely effective as a morning ritual, ensuring that your day begins from a position of anchored, present calm rather than reactive stress. Point 3, the sacred intention, the daily theme. The ancient practice described the divine assignment of formulating a singular, powerful, present tense intention is far more than a simple morning routine. It's an act of cognitive alchemy that directly influences your reticular activating system, RAS, and consequently the entire electromagnetic field of your being or your aura. This process is rooted in the factual interplay between psychology and quantum mechanics, making it both profoundly spiritual and scientifically grounded. When you frame your intention in the present tense, such as "I am the embodiment of peaceful patience today," you are not making a wish for the future. You are making a declarative statement of current truth, immediately shifting your internal reference point. This technique sidesteps the skeptical, analytical mind, which often resists future tense goals, e.g., "I will be patient," because they imply a present lack. By affirming "I am," you instruct your subconscious that the desired state is already achieved, compelling it to align your thoughts, emotions, and subsequent actions with this established identity. The repetition of the phrase 5 times in a slow internal whisper is a crucial part of the mechanism. This slow repetition serves 2 primary functions. It reinforces the neural pathways associated with the chosen intention through what's known as Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together, and the low internal whisper generates specific subtle vibrations. In esoteric traditions, the voice is considered a direct conduit to the subtle energy body. By whispering internally, you keep the energy localized and highly focused within your personal field, setting the primary frequency for your aura. This aura, scientifically measurable as a bioelectromagnetic field extending from the body, is constantly interacting with the environment. When you intentionally broadcast a frequency of peaceful patience, you unconsciously begin to filter your perception of the world through that lens. This is where the RAS comes in. Located in the brainstem, the RAS acts as a gatekeeper of information, filtering the billions of bits of data that bombard you daily, letting through only what it deems relevant. By affirming your intention, you program your RAS to actively seek, prioritize, and highlight opportunities and details that confirm your new, declared state. If you set the intention to be peaceful, your RAS will make you more attuned to moments of calm, polite interactions or solutions, while helping you bypass or less intensely react to potential triggers of impatience. This focused, singular, and positive intention is unique because it emphasizes being over doing. Instead of a goal-oriented directive like "I will finish 3 reports," the divine assignment focuses on an existential quality, like "I am an innovative problem solver." The latter intention is far more powerful because it addresses the root cause of your actions, your self-concept. When you genuinely believe you are the quality you seek, all your doings naturally flow from that integrated state. Furthermore, the commitment to a single intention for the day prevents the energetic dilution that comes from scattershot affirmations. This practice effectively tunes your energy to a single, pure frequency, much like tuning a radio to a specific station. Any subsequent challenge throughout the day, a sudden change of plans, an irritating delay, or a difficult conversation, can be immediately met with the simple, powerful internal recalibration. I am the embodiment of peaceful patience. This creates a consistent and powerful energetic shield and magnet, ensuring that you not only handle the circumstances better, but also subtly influence the circumstances themselves to resonate with the peace you are projecting. By making this present tense affirmation the foundational first step of your day, you are, in essence, becoming the conscious architect of your subjective reality, moving from a passive reactor to an active co-creator. Point 4, the water blessing, the cleansing ritual. Step into the fascinating intersection of ancient wisdom and modern biophysics as we delve deeper into the seemingly simple act of slowly drinking 1 glass of water infused with your sacred intention. This isn't just about hydration, it's a profound energetic initiation, a spiritual primer for your physical vessel before the day's consumption begins. Water, the very matrix of life, constitutes about 60% of the human body and plays an indispensable role far beyond mere solvency. From regulating body temperature to cushioning the brain and spinal cord, it is the fundamental medium through which all biological processes occur. Yet, in this practice, we're interested in water's lesser-known, yet scientifically suggested, property, its capacity to hold and transmit frequency, making it a perfect energetic conduit for your highest purpose. The concept of water holding memory or frequency has been championed, albeit controversially, by scientists like Dr. Masaru Emoto, whose widely disseminated photographic experiments suggested that water molecules form beautiful crystalline structures when exposed to positive intentions, like love or thank you, and form disorganized, fragmented structures when exposed to negative ones. While Emoto's methodology is debated in the orthodox scientific community, the principle he highlights, that energy and consciousness interact with matter, resonates deeply with spiritual traditions across the globe, from the holy water of Christianity to the Ab-i-Hayat, water of life, of Persian law. By silently blessing the water and infusing it with your sacred intention from step 3, perhaps an intention of focus, compassion, or abundance, you are essentially tuning the molecular structure of that glass of water to your desired energetic blueprint. Holding the glass provides a critical point of physical anchor and focus. The human hand, a complex network of nerve endings and energy points, acts as a natural energetic transmitter. As you hold the glass, the bioelectrical field of your hands interacts with the liquid. You are not just pouring energy into the water. You are creating a feedback loop where your intention is simultaneously impressed upon the water and received back through the warmth and weight of the glass. This consecrated water, now spiritually initiated, becomes the very first element absorbed by your gastrointestinal tract. The gut, which modern science calls our second brain, due to its dense network of neurons. This ensures that the foundational element, absorbed by the body, the element that will circulate through every cell, every organ, and every energetic meridian, is perfectly aligned with your highest purpose for the day. This act of intentional hydration is a unique form of energetic purification and a powerful shift away from merely reactive consumption. By prioritizing this single consecrated glass, you are symbolically cleansing the slate, flushing out the residual energetic noise of the night, and establishing a high-frequency vibrational baseline for the hours ahead. It is a moment of profound pause, transforming a mundane biological necessity into a potent spiritual ritual. This deliberate conscious choice sets a tone of mindfulness and sacredness for the entire day, preparing your mind, body, and spirit to operate not from fatigue or habit, but from a place of premeditated, intentional resonance. Over time, this simple, dedicated practice trains your subconscious mind to associate the first intake of the day with your highest goal, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle of purposeful living. It's the difference between merely existing and energetically choosing how you wish to exist, one sacred sip at a time. Point 5, the gratitude ledger, the spiritual balance sheet. Step right up and prepare to decode one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, spiritual technologies available to us, the gratitude recalibration protocol. This isn't just about feeling good, it's a profound, factual shift in your neurochemistry and energetic state, a preliminary tuning required before you engage with the digital world, a realm often deliberately designed to exploit feelings of lack and inadequacy. Before your eyes are bombarded by the curated realities, endless scrolling and commercial whispers of what you are missing, this simple act of writing down 3 profound gratitudes, with a specific, often ignored blessing included, serves as an intentional attention firewall. Factual evidence from fields like positive psychology and neuroscience strongly suggests that practicing gratitude activates the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain associated with learning, decision-making, and moral judgments. By triggering this area, you literally shift your brain's operating mode away from the default mode network, DMN, which, when left unchecked, often cycles through self-critical thoughts and worries about the future or past, effectively putting your mind on a foundation of scarcity. The unique and crucial element in this anointed path practice is the intentional inclusion of a blessing you habitually take for granted, a fundamental blessing acknowledgement. Consider the miraculous yet mundane ability to see, a process involving billions of light-sensitive cells and complex neural pathways that interpret a stream of photons, or the silent yet essential function of your lungs, which process approximately 20,000 liters of air daily. By actively selecting one of these foundational pillars of your existence, be it the unwavering, unconditional loyalty of a simple pet, a bond that releases oxytocin in both you and the animal, creating a biological feedback loop of calm, or the warmth of your home, a sanctuary that fulfills the fundamental Maslowian need for safety, you force your conscious mind out of its state of habitual obliviousness. This isn't passive thanks. It's an active, appreciative deconstruction of your current reality, which is, in fact, incredibly rich. It is a moment of profound recognition that you are, right now, experiencing a state of abundance, defined not by accumulated wealth, but by present functional blessing. This simple, pre-digital abundance equation works by leveraging the law of attraction, not as a mystical spell, but as a practical, observable phenomenon rooted in focus. When your mind is saturated with a sense of I have, it changes the filters through which you perceive the world. Psychologists call this the reticular activating system, RAS, a bundle of nerves in the brainstem that acts as a gatekeeper, filtering out irrelevant information and bringing to your attention only what you are focused on. By consciously focusing your RAS on gratitude and abundance, you suddenly begin to see opportunities, connections, and solutions that were always there, but previously drowned out by the noise of comparison and complaint. You're essentially shifting your internal radio from the weak, static-filled scarcity station to the clear, powerful abundance frequency. This prepared and calibrated state is the fertile ground of the anointed path, making you a magnetic receiver for further blessing because you have demonstrated, through the ritualistic power of the written word, that you are already in possession of everything you need. This powerful, captivating routine transforms a fleeting thought into a documented declaration of being chosen and blessed, a state of being that is truly unique and profoundly captivating. Point 6, the sun's direction, the magnetic alignment. Step outside or press close to a window and let the indifferent colossal rhythm of the cosmos wash over you for a mindful 90 seconds. This simple act, the observation of light and sky, is for the chosen one far more than a break. It is a profound spiritual anchor, a direct non-verbal dialogue between your finite human consciousness and the infinite, timeless machinery of the universe. The sky, in its constant cyclical transformation, offers an immediate, tangible glimpse into the very principle of creation, and crucially, the ultimate promise of light's victory over darkness. It's a moment designed to calibrate your personal spiritual energy to the grand perspective of existence. Consider the sheer, humbling facts of what you are observing. The light you see, whether it's the gentle illumination of dawn, the blazing arc of midday, or the subtle diffusion of twilight, originates from a star, our sun, a fiery ball of plasma, approximately 150 million kilometers away. Every second, the sun converts over 4 million metric tons of matter into energy, primarily through the process of nuclear fusion, where hydrogen nuclei combine to form helium. The photons, light particles you are witnessing, were generated deep within the solar core and took an astounding 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel across the vacuum of space, finally arriving to touch your skin and register on your retina. This light is, quite literally, a wave of ancient atomic energy, a billion-year-old message from the heart of the solar system. For the chosen one, whose mission is often a long, arduous struggle against seemingly insurmountable odds, this factual perspective is a potent dissolver of small human anxieties. What is a momentary worry against the backdrop of a star that has been shining for 4.6 billion years, a rhythm that precedes and will succeed all human drama? This daily celestial performance is a magnificent metaphor for the spiritual journey itself. The transition from night to day is not merely an astronomical event. It is the physical manifestation of the ultimate spiritual victory. Night, with its attendant shadows, fears, and unknowables, represents the forces of chaos, entropy, and darkness, the very forces the chosen one is tasked to overcome. But the dawn, which you are consciously observing, is the inevitable, cyclical, and predictable return of ordered luminous energy. Even on the darkest, stormiest day, the sun has not ceased to shine. It is merely veiled. Its light is not defeated, only obscured. By spending these 90 seconds focused on the movement of this light, you are not just looking at the sky. You are actively attuning your inner self to this universal truth of persistence. It is a daily visceral reminder that the darkness is temporary and merely a phase in a larger, light-centric cycle. To make this observation unique, focus not just on the brightness, but on the boundary condition, the terminator line. This is the moving line that separates the illuminated day side and the dark night side of a planetary body. In astronomical terms, the movement of this line across the Earth is the literal mechanism of sunrise and sunset. By watching the light change, you are witnessing the movement of this colossal, invisible boundary, the battle line between light and shadow, moving at a speed relative to your latitude, constantly marching around the globe. This dynamic, moving boundary represents the ever-present fluid frontier of your own spiritual war. The mere act of observing it connects your personal struggle to this cosmic scale in different rhythm. It validates the struggle by placing it within the grandest imaginable context, assuring you that the victory of light is not just a hope, but a fundamental, non-negotiable principle of creation. In this 90-second stillness, your small personal anxieties are finally dwarfed by the magnificent, ongoing, and inevitable spiritual triumph of the cosmos. Point 7. The boundary of the voice, the pledge of protection. Imagine the dawn not just as a transition from night to day, but as a silent, powerful forge where the essence of your next 12 to 16 hours is hammered out. The concept of making a gentle pledge, a personal first-hour vow, to speak only words that are necessary, true, and kind for the initial 60 minutes of your waking life, is an ancient, surprisingly potent act of self-mastery. Far from a mere charming habit, this practice is a profound lesson in applied psycholinguistics and vibrational physics, transforming your voice from a simple communication tool into a deliberate tool of manifestation. The factual basis for this lies in the intricate feedback loop between our internal state and external expression. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, posits that the language we use internally and externally profoundly shapes our perception of reality. By meticulously guarding your morning words, you are performing a conscious linguistic edit on the script of your day before it even begins. The decision to speak only what is necessary is a fascinating exercise in efficiency and presence. It forces you to pause, asking, does this need to be said right now? This pause is a critical circuit breaker, preventing the cascade of unconscious, reactive chatter that often starts the day, the small, unthinking complaints about the alarm, the weather, or the immediate demands of routine. Scientifically, this pause enhances executive function in the prefrontal cortex, training your brain to prioritize intention over impulse. By curtailing idle speech, you conserve a measurable amount of psychological energy, channeling that focus into deliberate action. Think of your verbal energy as a finite resource. The necessary only rule ensures you spend it wisely, immediately elevating the perceived value of every utterance you make. Furthermore, the commitment to speak only what is true, meaning authentic and honest rather than merely factual, and kind, establishes a robust energetic boundary around your entire day. This is the captivating, unique aspect of the vow. In the first hour, the mind is transitioning from the subconscious dream state, a highly impressionable and suggestive period. When you articulate a complaint, a rash judgment, or a negative observation during this liminal state, you are essentially signing an energetic contract with negativity, granting it a foothold in your reality. Every word is a vibrational frequency. A complaint, for example, is a low-frequency broadcast. By consciously preventing this low-frequency signal from leaving your lips, you are actively tuning your personal frequency to a higher, more positive vibration. This act is a proactive form of psychological filtering, preventing external negativity, a traffic jam, an annoying email, a demanding colleague, from finding resonance through your own unmindful articulation. Instead of becoming a microphone for the world's chaos, your guarded speech turns you into a clear, high-fidelity channel for intentional thought and positive engagement. This gentle discipline, necessary, true, and kind, is the ultimate morning ritual, transforming the chaotic potential of a new day into a meticulously constructed experience of peace and purpose. The first hour, therefore, is not just time spent. It is the fundamental investment in a well-spoken, well-lived life. Dear Chosen, 1. Allow this urgent assignment to unfold in your spirit, not as pressure, but as a sacred invitation into deeper alignment. This is not a race, nor is it a demand for hurried excellence. It is a divine arrangement of structure, rhythm, and inner clarity. When you devote the very first moments of your day, the earliest untouched seconds of awareness, to gentle acts of intention, you activate something far greater than a routine. In many spiritual traditions, from ancient Israel to early monastic communities, the first fruits were considered the most powerful offering, not because of quantity, but because of purity. Modern psychology even affirms that the state of your mind in the first 10 minutes after waking sets the tone for your emotional patterns, cognitive framing, and decision-making for the rest of the day. By anchoring those moments in stillness, gratitude, breath, or quiet devotion, you're not just preparing yourself spiritually, you are scientifically shaping your neurological pathways toward clarity and peace. You are stepping into your anointed path with conscious reverence, letting calmness guide instead of chaos. These early actions work like spiritual calibration tools, aligning your inner world before the outer world has the chance to impose its demands. Neurologically, the brain's theta waves, dominant in the moments right after waking, make you more receptive to spiritual impressions, creative insight, and divine guidance. This is why your first thoughts carry such weight, and why directing them intentionally becomes an act of spiritual authority. By embracing the first fruits of consciousness with purpose, you consecrate the entire arc of your day. You walk forward not rushed, but rooted, not anxious, but anointed. Remember, your true work does not begin with frantic activity, but with inner stillness, the kind of stillness that sharpens discernment, strengthens resilience, and amplifies divine protection. Go forth with this truth etched into your spirit. Your steps are guided, your path is secured, and your peace is evidence that God Himself has arranged your morning.